Well, I think there's about 8 minutes left in the game. When I Coach Early after the timeout just said, this is a hell of a basketball game. Both teams are really competing. It's very physical. There was execution on both ends, and there was big defensive stops and hustle plays on both ends. And let's face it, we've lost a couple games, at Kansas and against Marquette where we've really struggled from the foul line. And today we got the benefit of them missing a couple free throws late that allowed us to send it to overtime. So you hope over the course of the season those things even themselves out, and it did today. And then our guys, after giving up that first basket in overtime, I thought were really focused defensively, and we made some good plays on the offensive end to create some separation.
All right, if you've got a question, use the raise hand feature. We'll start with Matt DeMarinis from White and Blue Review.
Hey, Mac, I'm just wondering if you had any conversations with your players throughout the game as, missed shots were starting to pile up a little bit, and it was clear that it was going to be a grinder of a game, whether you conveyed to them that they were going to have to be the tougher team in order to win this one.
Yeah, we don't talk much about missed shots, Matt. We talk about the right shots. And if we take the right shots and we miss them, that's just part of the game. It's a make and miss game. And we actually had a couple possessions late, a great kick out by Denzel to Mitch, an extra pass, one more pass from Mitch to Marcus for a wide open three. Those are shots that, frankly, we want. We're trying to seek those in the flow of our offense. So if we can get those, I don't get too caught up in makes and misses. We're going to play the way we play. And when they spread out, we got it into Christian Bishop. He made some great plays to get us back in the game, and I thought gave us a huge lift the second half.
Next, we'll go to Matt Foster, KETV.
Mac, I know it's still early in league play, but how important are these games when it comes to winning a conference championship at the end of the season?
Well, I mean, you have to get fortunate some, I think, to win a conference championship, and part of that goes with your health. Part of it goes with winning a couple that you're not supposed to win. And, UConn had us there late until they missed the free throws. So you got to get lucky once in a while. We got lucky at the end of the game, but we continue to fight to put ourselves in a position to at least have an opportunity there with a couple of plays we made. And then, Damian Jefferson made a great play in the out of bounds play at the end to get it to overtime. But we lost one at home. You got to go get some on the road. And this is a difficult road trip to be gone for, 5 days like we've been, and to come out of here with two wins against two very good teams. Feather in the cap for our guys.
Next, we'll go to John Niatalo with the Illinois World Herald.
Greg, I know you've complimented your guys' grit and toughness over the course of the last year, but when you have a game like this where, like you said, you had good shots, especially right there in the final minute that didn't go down, but yet they were able to still find a way to make it happen. Like, how important was it for this group in particular to battle, find a way, and see the results go the way they wanted?
Yeah, I mean, a very physical game. And, we ended up even out-rebounding them even on the offensive glass, which was huge for us. But the reality of it was, we're not winning a lot of games when Marcus and Denzel combined 2 of 13 from the three-point line. They're two of our better shooters, and they had some decent looks, and they didn't go in. And you combine that with we didn't make free throws, and you still found a way to win. And, our execution late in the game and our execution in overtime was really, really good. And like I said, we got a little help from UConn there late in the game. I'm proud of our guys, and they stuck to it, and they kept believing. And, Damian Jefferson's attitude in those timeouts and in the huddles is incredible. Like, his belief in what we're doing and in his teammates is really at a incredibly high level right now. And, people feed CJ once again. He had a heck of a road trip.
Got time for 3 more questions for Coach. We'll start with Dave Borges.
Yeah, Greg, just wanted to ask you, just through the first couple of weeks of Big East play, what you've seen from afar and what you've seen during the actual games, how competitive the conference is going to be this year, and how tough it's going to be throughout the season.
Well, I mean, there's not going to be any easy games. You better get excited for any win that you can get because it's a grinded out league. It was that before. Now you add a program with the history and tradition of UConn, and Coach Hurley does an unbelievable job preparing his team and getting them to compete at a high level. It's obvious they take on his personality, and that's a sign of a really well coached team. So throughout the league, there's nothing going to be easy. And, people are going to have to figure out a way to get through these disruptions. We had one early. Obviously, UConn's just coming out of one. But that's probably going to continue to happen as the season goes on. And you just got to appreciate every game you can possibly play.
All right, we'll go back to John Niatala.
What'd you guys do differently down the stretch against Book Night?
Well, we flooded him a little bit more on his penetration. I thought there were times Denzel maybe closed out a little short on him and gave him a three, and we encouraged him to get up into him a little more and make him put it on the floor. But if you're going to do that, then the defense behind him has to be there. And I thought for a good portion of the game, it was not. And I thought in overtime and late in the game in particular, we did a much better job of meeting him, and he saw bodies when he got in the paint. I don't know who it was on the breakaway layup late that Mitch had an unbelievable vertical wall, both hands up, forced him to miss the shot. Just a huge play, something that we practice all the time, but you hope that when the lights come on, your guys can execute it, and Mitch executed that incredibly well.
And our final question will go back to Matt Foster, KETV.
Mac, you mentioned Damian's energy in the huddle. In games like these, especially in a year where there's no fans, how important is that senior leadership to really keep the guys energized, even when those shots aren't falling?
Yeah, it's really critical because they've been there and they understand. There's ebbs and flows to every game, and there's games where the ball bounces around the rim for their team and goes in, and bounces around the rim for our team and bounces out. And so you have to control what you can control, and Damian has embraced that in an awesome way. That we'll take care of what we can take care of, and we'll let the chips fall where we may. But we're going to leave it all out there. We're not leaving anything on this bench. We're getting out there. We're going to get into it, and he's encouraging the guys on the bench to be enthusiastic and provide a lot of energy. And I thought they did that today. So. I'm blessed with some veteran leadership. All those guys in the starting lineup have been around, and they get it. They've been in tough situations before, and the moment never gets too big for them. And, hopefully that'll pay dividends like it did today down the road.